If you could ask technology to do one thing for you, what would it be? That's a good one. So I asked this question of several different people, actually a lot of different people, and their answers were quite interesting. A child said, I want technology to solve the problem of world hunger. A retired educator said, I want technology to make people nicer. A parent said, my life is a mess and I need a personal assistant and I want technology to arrange it for me. And then, of course, a college student said, I want technology to do my homework. So again, I ask you the question, if you could have technology do one thing for you, what would it be? How would you answer the question? Would you say something like, I hate sitting in traffic and I want technology to drive my car for me? Or, I'm getting ready to buy a house or a new car and my credit is a mess and I want technology to get me better credit? Or would you say something even more serious? I have a disease that runs through my family and I want technology to tell me if I'm going to get it or if I'm actually going to die from it. No matter how you answer the question, I'm here to share with you that technology is already doing it. And it's called artificial intelligence. So what is artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence is the science of a computer thinking like a human. But it's not just about thinking like a human. It's about making decisions and judgments like a human. Artificial intelligence has been around for decades, but only most recently has it become important and accessible to us. I had the opportunity to travel to Bangkok, Thailand in March of 2023, and I arrived in the Seoul, South Korean airport very early in the morning. And I was a little nervous because if I didn't make my connecting flight, I would miss my presentation later on that afternoon. So I'm looking around for the gate agent. I didn't speak the language, and up comes a robot. The robot greets me. It asked me for my information. I gave it to the robot, and it helped me find my gate. And then as I began to walk away, it said, hey, don't you want to take a picture with me? And of course, I'm thinking, here I am with the robot. Yes, I do. And then a couple of weeks ago, I was having lunch with my family in a popular Atlanta restaurant. And the waiter, the server came and took our order. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, it's going to take a while. There's a lot of us sitting here. But then the server didn't come back. Instead, a robot came back and served us our food. So again, I ask you, how did you answer the question? What do you want technology to do for you? Again, it's probably already doing it. So now let's kind of turn our attentions to the positive impacts of artificial intelligence and technology in communities of color. For instance, the healthcare field. Technology is helping us in terms of preventative care. It's looking at our DNA and the way our bodies are made up and helping us to determine those diseases that are running through our families and helping us to have a better quality of life. For instance, in our educational system, it's providing tools and resources for underserved communities and for communities in rural places to bridge the divide. In the area of jobs, it's providing new jobs, better paying jobs. And then, of course, a space that is near and dear to me, the digital divide. It is bringing tools and resources and helping us in terms of digital literacy to become better users of technology. But of course, with every good thing, there's also some controversy. Some say it actually leads to a loss of jobs, while others are very concerned about their privacy and security. And some are also concerned about the misuse and the mistrust that comes with technology. I am a computer science professor, and one of the things that I enjoy most is the computer ethics course that I teach. I get to talk to students about real-world concepts and things that matter in terms of artificial intelligence and technology. And one of the case studies that we discuss is about driverless 18-wheel trucks. And of course, you can imagine students are always very interested in this concept because they're thinking, yes, I might want my car to drive for me, but do I really want to be on the road with an 18-wheel truck that has no driver? Some say yes, while others may say no. Those who say yes say that the driverless truck doesn't have to worry about the human condition. It can drive through rain, it doesn't get tired, it doesn't get sleepy, and it might make good decisions based on its conditions. While others who might say no say, well, what about the truck driver who may lose their job driving this truck? What about the impact on the community and the family? Then others may say, well, what about the jobs it's going to bring because of the new technology that's being developed? So again, no matter how you choose to answer the question, again, technology is already doing some of it. And then there's this question of data, privacy, and security. I have a voice web-based cloud service in my home, like many of you all do. And one day I was having dinner with my family, and I said I want to take a vacation. And as soon as I said that, we got all excited, but then I started thinking, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to be the one to plan the vacation. So later on that evening, while the house was quiet, I logged onto my computer, and you know what happened? I started getting ads. I got ads about my location, about the rental car, about the weather, about the flight information, the hotel. Everything had been planned out for me. And while I was excited to have this invisible travel agent helping me, I was also concerned about a private conversation that I was having in my home with my family being used as somebody else's data. So again, I ask you the question, if technology could do one thing for you, what would it be? And then, of course, there's this concern about the misuse of our information. And this is historically bedded in communities of color. I am from Tuskegee, Alabama. I grew up in Tuskegee, where the syphilis study was held. And so this is a particular concern to me in terms of the misuse of our information. And as a Black woman, I am also very concerned because of the representation in terms of the life of Henrietta Lacks. So again, in communities of color, I get it. We're always concerned about the new. But the question I have for you is not just about what it does or what can it do, but now the question becomes, it's here, so how are you going to use it? More importantly, how are you going to live in color in this AI-generated world? Well, I'm glad you asked. I say, you gotta be a G. You ask, what is a G? It's the 3G principle. The first is you have to gain skills. There are two very important things that happened to me while I was a student here at Prairie View A&M University. The first one was, I'm a computer science. I was a computer science major. And one day after class, a professor came to me and said, Cynthia, I need to see you after class is over. Now, the other second most important thing that happened to me was that I had just become Miss Prairie View A&M University. Something I was very proud of. But being Miss Prairie View also meant that I was doing service and I was a little bit of a social butterfly. So I was concerned that my service and my social butterflyness had gotten in the way of my academic preparation when my professor came to me and said, I need to see you after class. So I entered her office and she said, now, Cynthia, you're not the best student in my class. And so, I had to wonder, where is this going? But she said, you're the most determined and you're very persistent. And as a result of that, I want you to come and work in my lab after class is over. And so I had to think about this. Again, I wasn't the best student in the class, but I worked really hard and I was dedicated to being a good computer science student. And so I thought about it. I said, if she had enough confidence in me to ask me, I should have enough confidence in myself to go and gain the skills necessary for my discipline. And so I did that for 2 years. And gaining those skills, not only as a computer science student, but also as Miss Prairie View, helped propel me on to graduate school, where I earned a master's and a PhD in computer science, making me one of few Black women in the country with this degree. So that's the reason I stand before you. I gained the skills. And then I also say, you have to generate your own. What does that mean? Don't just be a consumer of knowledge, be a producer of knowledge. Mm-hmm. I have a very inquisitive 9-year-old son, and one day he came to me and he said, Mom, I want my own YouTube channel. And I was nervous because, again, you have to remember, I'm a computer science professor and I teach computer ethics. So I really know what this can mean for a young person growing up. But then I thought about it. He also wants to be a pilot. And he's very fortunate that when I get to travel for work or for pleasure, he travels along with me. And so because he wants to be a pilot, he has decided to dress up in a pilot's costume. He puts it on every time we travel, and as a result of this, pilots will ask him to come into the cockpit. He gets to interview them. He gets to talk to them about their flight pattern and wherever we're going. And then he decided he was going to take that content and put it on his YouTube channel, not for himself, but because he also recognized that his friends are not as advantaged as he is. And he wanted to be able to share his experiences with them. So even at 9 years old, he is generating his own content. And so I ask you, how are you generating your own? And then I say, you have to give it your A game every day. Give it your A game every day. This is the last of the 3G principles. So what does this mean? In 2023, Time magazine stated there were 3 major developments in artificial intelligence. The first one, of course, ChatGPT, which I'll show you in a minute. The second one was constitutional AI, and no, it doesn't have anything to do with the Constitution of the United States. And then the third one is text to video. So what about multimodality? That is ChatGPT. It means taking a lot of data and turning it into something that is productive and easy to use for you. So I was getting ready to give a speech, and I forgot that I needed to give, as part of my speech, a welcome. And so I said, I don't have time to write it myself. I know what I want to say. So I turned to ChatGPT and asked ChatGPT to write a welcome speech for me. And this is what was produced. something I would write. It had a welcome. It had thank you. It had an introduction. It used words like, I'm thrilled that you're here. And so I ask you, what can technology do for you that you're not already doing for yourself? But how can you use it to your benefit? And then, of course, constitutional AI. Now, again, this has nothing to do with the Constitution of the United States, but it has everything to do with giving AI core values and a value system. This is a very important space because we need more people of color and more people with learning differences to work in this space to ensure that technology benefits us and our communities of color. And then, of course, the last one is text to video. Text to video is exactly what it means. It means taking text, typing in something as random as moving panther, and a video is produced. So in less than a minute, I was able to produce a video of a panther moving very slowly. I added the words, "Join us on the hill," and I created really an advertisement for Prairie View A&M University. So again, I ask you the question, how can you use this technology to be a benefit to you? So in closing, I ask you, if technology can do one thing for you, what would it be? I say you gotta be a G. Live by the 3G principle. Gain the skills, generate your own, and give it your A game every day. And you will live in color. Thank you.